transition is with us, and it's here to stay. Global economics, technological changes at the speed of light, and social values that are changing faster than any time in the past. To help guide you along your journey in this fast-changing life, the show with a purpose: to empower, to enlighten, to educate, and to entertain. The show that offers you a friend, a guide in the most transitional time in the history of the human race. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Steve Beaman.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to this very special edition of the Steve Beaman Show. Not only do we have better video for you, if you come onto the video today, you're going to see some really special looks for Carol and Steve, because we're on the O word today, and that's going to be an exciting word, isn't it, Carol?
It's going to be awesome. I can't
We'll wait and see, but we do have a great show for you. In the Master Your World segment, we're going to be talking about trying to apply 20th century solutions to 21st century problems. And then as we go to the Master Your Mind segment, we are going to begin our journey on the physical path, one of the 5 paths, but we're going to go into the physical. And at the bottom of the hour, we are going to go to the O word. Now, I'm never going to give away a secret here, but I will tell you that this is a word that can make you feel overwhelming joy or a little disappointment.
Oh.
So you want to stay tuned for that. And then when we come up, we're going to go through the more serious side at the Master of Money. And we're going to be talking about options and how you can use options to make money. So we're glad you're with us tonight. We do hope you'll go visit stevebeaman.com and watch the video, because it's just a fun show and we're having a good time. So hello to all of you out there who see the video.
We're really cool. We're in a different studio today, too, which makes it even more interesting.
It's a time of transition for the world and for us.
How much transition today. Woo, and we've got sunglasses on.
We do. We're looking good. But you know what we're going to do is we're going to take these off now because we have to also see our notes.
I think so. Well, Steve, this is going to be interesting. The letter O, but and options. I mean,
yeah, we've got a lot of real deep stuff we're going to talk about. But Carol, we're starting on this 20th century solutions to 21st century problems.
Okay, so I guess how do we have solutions that are really 21st century solutions for the 21st century problems?
We have to look back, and what the genesis of this article that I wrote, and it's up on stevebeaman.com, was an interview I had with a radio show, and I think it was in Denver. I'm not really sure what city it was in. But during the show, the host tried to get me to talk politics.
Well, it's a hot topic right now.
But I won't do that. I find no real value in it.
You won't go there.
But I'll talk policy all day.
Okay.
And so he asked me what I thought about the $15 an hour movement in the country. And I said to him, it's kind of interesting because minimum wage laws actually go back to 1600. They're not new. They go way back.
That's profound. I never heard that until you said that. The minimum, why would they have done that? What did they do that? Was that England?
It was in England. It's the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. It's the beginning of the times when labor would compete.
Okay.
And so I just had to smile. We heard a buzz on the phone, but I'm not sure that was for us. But yeah, folks, no, what we were talking about here, when you go to the minimum wages, we began to industrialize. There was a natural competition for labor. And people on the low end of the labor scale competed with other people to try to show who had the most value, the most productivity. So governments began installing these minimum wage laws.
Okay.
In this country, we've always had them since I think we put our first ones in the 20s or the 30s. But we've now, through the 20th century, saw a continual rise in minimum wage. When I was in high school working, it was $2.35 an hour, for example.
But there's also a cost of living, a COLA increase. There's always a cost of living to assess. So the wages they don't keep up with the cost of living.
Well, it's kind of funny if you look at it. If you normalize for inflation, the highest rate for minimum wage was actually the late 70s.
Really?
Or actually the late 60s, the late 60s.
Okay.
It was something in today's dollars like $11 an hour.
Okay.
So we get $8 an hour. So it was actually higher then. But what's happened now, and the reason this is so important, is that labor has always competed with other labor. So two workers would try to compete for the same job. Mm-hmm. That's a supply-demand equation, but minimum wage laws negate supply and demand. They disincentivize people to work harder at the low end because there's no need to. You're going to get the same pay no matter what you do. Here's the problem, though, in the 21st century. As we grow into the technology-based economy with semiconductors being ubiquitous, they're just everywhere, the competition isn't between the low-end labor and another laborer. It's low-end labor and a machine.
Well, now you've got, artificial intelligence and automation.
And it's a truck you're not going to stop. It's coming, it's fast, it's part of the transition, which is why this show was created.
Well, now, Steve, wait a second. If you have machines doing things people notoriously did, how is this helping the people that it's really trying to help? I mean, how is all this going to match up?
Well, that was my argument in the article. Government always looks in the rearview mirror to make policy. They look at problems that have been, not what will be. And the more they push these laws today, the more harm they're going to do to the very people they're trying to help. Not a surprise. If we look at the Great Society, the intent of it was wonderful. Right. The results and the outcome, well, those are somewhat less than wonderful.
Right. How is this going to affect first-time workers? I mean, I know when I first started working, my first job application, I had 2 jobs I applied for. One was in retail, one was at McDonald's. And McDonald's are going to pay $15 an hour to humans? Or
Well, they won't. What they'll do is put in kiosks and automation. And the problem is, as you artificially mitigate supply and demand, the wage rates are such that it's cheaper to put a machine in.
So how are we going to be teaching our young people good work ethics and how to get a job, how to apply for a job, how to talk during an interview? And how are we helping poor people that just want to earn that minimum wage to help provide for their family?
It goes to what you said early on. How do we find solutions to 21st century problems? We are in an economic dislocation that we have never seen before. The middle class is being wiped out, not by unfair trade, but by technology. There's nothing you can do to stop it. It's going to happen. So the question comes down to, how do we build educational systems that take people from being enslaved by technology to being the masters of that technology and offering value to work with that technology?
So how do we rise above that? How do we actually go and do that?
And here's where I get optimistic about it. People left to their own devices will fix this. We will come up with new education. We will come up with new ideas. We'll come up with ways to work with technology we've never even dreamed of.
You mean bureaucrats aren't going to fix this for us?
I've yet to meet anybody in a bureaucratic world who has my interest at heart.
So let's speak to all the small business owners out there that have to pay a minimum wage. How is this $15 minimum wage going to impact them if they don't have the resources to pay for this new technology and all this automation? Do you think they're going to just cut their workforce, or they're just going to be more picky on who they hire? Where's the solutions for small businesses?
Well, this is one of our big pushes on the show because, small business is in my heart. I've been in small business my whole life. You have been.
Absolutely.
And it's key. But the problem they have is that as you raise their costs and they can't afford the automation, they become uncompetitive with the bigger shops that can afford it. And that's why people need to realize, especially, I've had discussions with people who are anti-Walmart, and they're typically on the left. They're very much against Walmart and its onerous effect on small business. But these policies they're putting in are exactly what Walmart wants to see.
Right, because Walmart can afford the $15. They've got kiosks already.
They do. It's the little guy, the little hardware store on the corner who can't afford it. So what they're going to have to do, though, is create and use technology at the small end to raise productivity from the existing workforce so that they have fewer dollars in payroll, but they have more productivity because they've used technology effectively.
So how do you... I just don't see how it's going to happen, though, for the small guy.
It will, and it has to, because the small business engine is what made America what it is.
Absolutely.
If you go back to 1940, we're a little off topic, but it's relevant. 1940, something like 70% of Americans worked for companies with less than 20 people.
Right. What is it now?
50.
Wow.
It's still huge, but it's down.
Right.
And if we go back, it was 2 years ago, for the first time, we had more businesses fail than start. And that, to me, is one of the most frightening statistics I've ever seen. But it's not necessarily that we walk into this abyss of technology. I think we can fix it. I think we can solve the problem, but we've got to get everybody going on their 5 paths to the transformed life. I go back to that because that's where the solution is.
Yeah, the 5 paths are there. That's 5. Thrive with the 5 paths.
It absolutely. And again, I don't want to be trite about it, and I don't want to be just preaching a message of optimism and naiveness. But if we line up our emotional, intellectual, spiritual, physical, and financial paths and get them firing on all cylinders, you can deal with this technology stuff and you can become its master.
Well, I really am excited excited because I like that you try to lay out some solutions. And I'm also excited because next we're going to have one of the 5 paths. What path are we going to speak to?
We're slipping into the physical path, and it sounds common sense, and it's another one of these things people gloss over, but we're going to give you a reason to believe in the physical path. And we're going to do our very, very best to make it so important that when you wake up tomorrow, it resonates with your life.
Oh, so it's something that everybody should stick around and
There's
listen to.
There's no question about that. We've got 50, 60 articles we're going to talk about, not in detail, obviously. But we're going to give a flavor of it. And then you don't want to miss the bottom of the hour because I'm telling you, folks, we're counting down the clock to the O word. Can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then the Master Your Money segment, well, that we're going to talk options, which everybody goes, oh, what? And again, don't forget to watch the video up at stevebeaman.com. We'll put our glasses back on for you.
Hi friends, Carol Parisi here. If you're like me, you're always on the quest for improved sleep and more energy. I discovered the secret to getting this. It's tart cherries and their restorative powers. It's been found that tart cherry juice, like the Cherry Bundy brand, could help to relieve aches and pains, provide faster muscle recovery, and help you get a good night's sleep. The science shows that tart cherries and Cherry Bundy are rich in antioxidants that help reduce inflammation in the body. These antioxidants also work to reduce exercise-induced oxidative stress to help your body recover faster. Tart cherries also contain naturally occurring melatonin, known as a key ingredient to a good night's rest. To learn more about the science behind tart cherry juice, check out choosecherries.com. It's full of data from independent research studies. My favorite tart cherry juice brand is Cherry Bundy, which you can find at cherrybundy.com, spelled CHERIBUNDI.com. And tell them Steve and Carol sent you.
Oh, my friends, it is good to be alive. Now, can't wait for the emotional path coming up, by the way, which we may actually negate the it's good to be alive thing, but we'll talk about that when we go there. But hey, today, we talk to you often about the 5 paths to your transformed life. Thrive on 5, right?
Absolutely.
And the reason for that is this transition we're in, you're not going to stop. You have to learn to adapt to it. And the 5 paths are the way to make you do that. Today, this episode, we're going to shift into the physical path. We've been down through, the last few have been on, I just got water in my throat, the intellectual path. And we went down some keys to the intellectual path, but today we're going to move into the physical path.
Okay, so you have, in your Beaman Insights, how many articles here? I mean, I'm seeing like 70, 90.
There's a bunch of them. I wrote these over time, mostly for my kids. But
so like you said, let's this week for the physical path, let's do a 30,000 view where we look at all these things, and then we can start picking out some smaller things.
Yeah, we'll drill down in the next few weeks.
Okay, so a case for abstinence.
Yeah, let's talk about. Okay, we're all sitting back and we sit in the comfort of our homes, or you're in your car right now listening to us, or hey, maybe you're listening to this on a podcast at a beach. I don't know. But the point is, you've got this physical side of your life that is holistic and it touches your emotional side. But we try to say, let's focus on our physical. That first article I wrote, The Case for Abstinence, because of an article I read about a young girl, and it touched my heart that she had not waited.
And then there's a lot of, when they're young, there's a lot of emotional things that get unpacked.
And Carol, I was blown away by the fact that when I went back and talked to old high school girlfriends, not one of them was happy that they had not been abstinent in their early life.
Oh, okay. Now, again,
it's an issue.
Commitment to exercise, an ounce of prevention equals a pound of cure. Diabetes in America. Can we look young forever? Outbreak, E. coli. Now there's the Zika virus.
Yep.
How to increase your metabolism, real exercise. I mean, hey, now you're talking my smoothies. Are they right size for you?
Right. But here's where we're going on this. Let's assume that you're just kind of going through your life and you're generally happy with yourself. You feel healthy, you feel good. I want to make the case to you right now that you have to focus on your physical well-being.
Absolutely.
You can't gloss over this.
Here's the deal. Take the number 1 million. You could have $1 million. Take that number 1. If you don't have your health, You take that away, you have nothing, a bunch of zeros. If
It's
you
all
don't,
gone.
Right. If you don't have your physical health, your physical well-being, what do you have? I mean, it's so hard. I saw a mother die of cancer. And
A friend of mine just yesterday, I was talking, I don't remember who it was, but they were talking to me saying that a friend of theirs at 44 passed away from a heart attack out of nowhere.
it's becoming really common.
Well, the fact is we've got to think about this stuff. And when I talk the physical path, I'm talking all of it. I'm talking our health and our wellness in our bodies, the linkage to the mind, because that's part of our
Huge.
physical being too. I'm talking supplements, working out, setting an attitude of excellence so that you have the physical energy you need.
Okay, I'm a certified personal trainer, certified herbalist.
Yep.
For the American Council on Exercise for almost 20 years now. And you do need, there's three forms of fitness. You have your strength, you have your flexibility, and you have your endurance. All three are important. It's a 3-leg stool to good physical fitness. And it helps raise your metabolism. Do you think America is in an obesity crisis right now?
There's no question America's in an obesity crisis. We fill ourselves full of synthetic sugars. We drink those 2-liter things of pop. I'm not saying I'm anti-pop. We talked earlier, I like Coke with pizza and ribs and stuff. But we don't.
How often do you eat that pizza?
I don't do it all the time. And these people are going out drinking 2-liter Cokes every night. That's a recipe for disaster. And you don't have the right to do that
But
in my mind.
what? But you know what? I don't believe a Bill de Blasio mayor has the right to tell people that they can't drink big
Well, I don't
gulps.
either. He's not even involved in this, frankly.
Right,
I know
but
where
they
you
were-
are on
they
that,
were
but you're
do-
right.
they
No,
were- you know
this
what?
isn't about government telling you what to do. This is about Stephen Carroll telling you what to do.
Right.
But because it's in your interest. Parents go to their kids all the time and they say, Susie, don't play in the street. You're going to get run over by a bus. Susie fights back, and unfortunately, some of the kids don't listen to their parents get hit by a bus. On this show, we'll never lie to you.
Right.
We're always going to tell you the truth, and people are poisoning themselves with this stuff, and they don't care. There's a lot of talk right now about fluoride in water. Mm-hmm. Now, the city of, I think it's Houston, just took the fluoride out of their water.
Okay.
Because they've actually come around to think it's not good for you.
I've heard it hurts your brain.
There's a lot to it.
But it's good for your teeth.
Well,
say the dentists say
it's a different formulation of fluoride we have today, believe it or not, than it was in the 60s. It's a little different. But I'm not I'm not going to come out on that world. But I'm saying it's stuff we need to be aware of. You have a responsibility to your kids, your grandkids, your parents, and to your spouse and to yourself to get your physical path on a good, even, straight road.
Well, what if I don't want to?
Then A, I feel sorry for you. And
What if
B,
I
I will try to persuade you to do it. Because the fact is, you can't go through life and say, I don't care if I'm healthy or not, because you have others that you deal with. You have family and friends. They rely on you. Their love for you hurts if you hurt.
So are you saying it's somewhat selfish if someone is not aware and conscious of their own physical health?
I absolutely am. It is extremely selfish. You don't, this is my way of thinking, my worldview. You don't have the right to go through life unhealthy and have it affect your kids, your spouse, your parents. You can't do that.
Okay, and to be clear, you're not talking about extraneous diseases that come upon someone.
Clearly not.
Right.
I'm talking about choices
just to be
people
clear,
make.
it's about choices.
I'm
You're
talking
about
people-
choices.
And I'm talking about being willing to go to a doctor when you get sick, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard people refuse to do that, or they refuse to take the prescribed solutions that some of the best medicine has to offer. I'm not saying we know everything. We don't.
See,
right?
I'm a big one on prevention. I am a big one on drinking my holistic cherry Bundy
what's
juice.
the old thing? An ounce of prevention is a pound
You
of
have an
cure.
article that says an
did I
ounce
write
of
that?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You did. You wrote an article saying in this wonderful Beaman Insights, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And exactly. I mean, here's the deal. I've got to tell you, I've been in Walmart in the snack aisle, and I felt so bad for this woman, but she was quite obese. I would say maybe 400 pounds, driving one of those little carts. And she was pointing to her son on the food to get her, and her choices were just horrific. I mean, not just one bag of garbage. I mean, 5 and 10 bags of garbage. You know what I really admire when I go into the grocery store, which I do all the grocery shopping? I admire when people look at the back at that nutritional facts.
Yep.
Those are so valuable. You can make good choices.
I would like to get that woman to listen to this show and talk to her about making choices that for her health and her family and those who love her, she makes better choices. It's not that hard.
But how sad. She can't even be mobile on her own. And then she's putting all this poison. I mean, it's poison. It is poison.
Here
Sugar,
I am again. If you're going to watch the video at stevebeaman.com, you're going to see me getting ready to jump up and down here again. Folks, listen to this.
It's physical exercise.
We have a nation in trouble right now.
Right.
We all know it. We're financially in trouble. We're not growing at the rates we need. The last thing you need is to have a medical problem.
Right.
Now, most of those have
medical
self-induced, and that's, things happen. We know that. But if you can prevent it, and you can therefore help your financial path and your emotional path and rely on your, all of it plays together, and you don't have to go down that path.
Well, it's interesting. Just use the junk food chips. Chips are so high in sodium. If you have a propensity to high blood pressure, the sodium in that is not helpful to you. It's quite harmful to you. I mean,
it's just simple. I've changed so much of the way I eat and the way I think because I told you my blood pressure was out of the charts back in January.
Right.
And I looked at the world and I said, either I go on medication or I change my ways.
You changed your lifestyle
I
habits.
looked at my 6 kids. I said, I can't do this to them.
Right.
I owe them. So my blood pressure now is as low as it's been since I was 18. But I'll tell you what I do. I don't eat the chips. I have celery instead.
And they've got the crunch. I know you work out with your trainer. How many times a week now?
I work out with a trainer twice a week.
Okay. And you find that to be very helpful to you?
I do to me. And again, this is a personal choice. I like it because it drives me to give more.
Now, do you do other things outside of your personal trainer? I mean, are you going and are you doing cardio on your own?
I go for a very aggressive walk every time I can. But I've changed the way I eat. I've changed the way I consume pop, and I've started to work out. It's not that hard. I'm not saying everybody can do it. And I know you're sitting in your car going, you don't know my schedule yet. I get that.
You know what? There are free apps for your cell phones.
Tons of
and you
apps.
could go ahead and count how many steps you're doing. You could put your calories in, and it does it all for you. I think that's something that would be beneficial to yourself to go ahead and start gauging what you're doing for yourself, for your health.
You got it. We have a lot more on the physical path over the next few weeks.
Absolutely.
But right now, we are both getting ready. And here they come again.
Oh, this is cool.
We're now back to the sunglasses because at the bottom of the hour, we have the
O word.
Oh, my goodness. Stick with us. We'll be right back. A funny thing happened over the past years. Responsibility for retirement got shoved onto your back. IRAs, Keos, 401ks, and all the other alphabet soup of investment options were thrown to you with the happy statement, you're now in charge of your own retirement. The problem is, money doesn't come with an instruction book. Well, here's the instruction book with no biases, no conflicts of interest, a pure purpose to promote and provide financial education. Welcome to the Society to Advance Financial Education, a 501c3 not-for-profit organization created and sustained to help you, real people in the real world. When you need a friend in finance, someone to explain things and make them understandable to you, you need SAFE. We have spoken to hundreds, thousands of people in transition, men and women dealing with retirement, college planning, divorce, death, transitions of all kinds, and we're there to help. Visit safefinancial.org on the web and become a member. Let our educational tools help you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're going to be going down the path of the Master Your Word segment tonight, and folks, we are excited about it. We think long and hard about what word best represents some point we want to make, and we are down to A, B, C, D, E, F, down to the O word. Carol, let us in.
The O word.
What do they think it's going to be? I wish I could hear them right now.
What did you say? It will cause you pleasure and sometimes
great
pain?
Pleasure, but sometimes pain.
Yeah, well, it's opportunity.
Oh, well, there we go.
Not that exciting. Well, no, it's actually could be very exciting. But opportunities that you don't take, you'll never know. You'll never know. And sometimes opportunities are disguised. Okay, sometimes things are really crappy, and it's like you have choices to make, and sometimes those choices, those tough ones, become golden opportunities.
We have talked long and hard on this program about attitude, about mindfulness, about all these things, and frequently they come down to this: take an opportunity when it presents itself. Don't be shy, don't be bashful.
Okay, how about all the business opportunities that are out there.
Family opportunities, business opportunities, love opportunities. You know, there's an old saying, and I hate to be trite, but sometimes the old statements are really true. Better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all.
How about it? You know, that's so true. I mean, if you live a full life, you're going to try new things, meet new people, go to different places, try business out. So if you fail, what difference does it make? Seriously, because you could always learn something as long as you're smart about failing.
I've said more often than not, I learn less from succeeding than I do from failing. I'd rather succeed. It's a lot more fun, and I've had both ends of that spectrum. But we're trying a new thing with a radio show. Why not? This goes back. You remember, you're not old enough to remember this, but the Minnesota Vikings had the front line that were called the Purple People Eaters. You remember them?
I don't. You know, okay. I was a Chicago Bears fan, and
Okay.
I remember the Bears and the shuffling.
Well, this goes back anyway. There's a reason I bring this up. There was a guy named Alan Page who was this great big defensive lineman, and I mean 6'7", 280 pound, great big guy. He gets out of the NFL, he retires, and he goes off to law school and becomes a lawyer.
Oh, how cool is
And
that?
in an interview one time, and it just stuck with me, which is why I bring it up, they looked at him and they said, "What in the world made you become a lawyer?" And he looked at the host and he said, "Well, let me tell you, life is like a big buffet meal. You want to try a few of these. Some of it you may not like. You may throw it out, but you never know until you try."
You know something? It's so funny because call me unfocused.
Unfocused.
But I'm not. I have done
Just
so
told
many.
me to call you that.
Well, okay. But think about it, and I so embrace that because look at some of the craziness that I've done. I've done fashion, beauty, modeling, this, and then I got involved in that politics thing. And it wasn't politics for me. I thought I was doing something noble, but it had nothing to do with anything else I was doing.
It was part of the buffet, and you kind of took that bite of that and said, "Oh, that one's gone."
Well, you know what? I'm passionate about liberty. I'm passionate about freedom. I'm passionate about personal responsibility. Those are passions of mine. And that's the perception, and that was the perspective in which I looked at what I was doing. So anyway, it's
But
kind
no,
of.
we all do that. We take opportunities.
But I would have
sometimes
never have met you if I didn't. So
and we never know what that's
Exa-
going to turn out.
That's the
And
point.
if you're listening to us right now, we never know if we'd have met you.
Exactly.
And I mean that seriously. This show's all about everybody listening. And if you go to the site, stevebeaman.com, I keep saying that because I want you to watch the video. We're looking at you right now and we're waving to you because it is about you we do this. When we talked about doing this, we sat at dinner one night with your husband.
Yes.
And I shouldn't have said that. Everybody thinks we're married. But blew that stick
I'm
right
your
there.
work wife. I'm
Yeah,
your
there you
work
go.
wife.
But anyway, my point, we talked about the challenges facing people today and how they feel uncomfortable with the economy. They feel uncomfortable with government. They feel uncomfortable with education. They feel uncomfortable with social change. They need a friend. They need to get control of the 5 paths.
So we took the opportunity to go ahead and bring the Steve Beaman Show to offer real help for real people. And we thank you for taking your time and listening to us. And we hope this is serving you. We
do.
truly
And
do.
one of the things we've talked about is extending the time so we can have call-ins because we'd love to talk to you. That's like both of us are going, we'd really like to talk to you.
Absolutely.
It'd be
We
fun.
need more than just this short hour. But Steve, folks can go ahead and write you at stevebeaman.com.
Steve at stevebeaman.com.
Steve at stevebeaman.com or Carol at stevebeaman.com. And we will answer you.
And we do get really good feedback. We got feedback on my dancing skills last week.
Okay.
You know, we do get feedback from
In
time
order
to
to
time.
see those dancing skills, you have to go to
And
stevebeaman.com.
we do get
and
feedback on
somebody-
Cherry Bundy, who, by the way, we're thankful that Cherry Bundy sponsors this segment. Go to cherrybundy.com. No joke. You guys hear me. I'm passionate every week about this stuff. And now the whole station is. We got everybody in the radio
Everybody's
station drinking
drinking
this.
Yep.
It's good stuff. Write me at stevebeaman.com or Carol will send you some of that for free because it will help you on your physical path.
Okay, Steve. So opportunity. So what's a good opportunity?
Well, I think an opportunity is anything you can do that expands your horizons in life. It could be an educational opportunity. It could be a hobby you've wanted to do. It could be a job you want to do, a love you want to have. There's opportunities present daily. We just need to grasp them.
Seize them. Seize them.
Seize
Live
the day.
life. Live life.
You know,
Yep.
what is it, that show? What's the show I'm thinking of? The teacher who teaches the kids Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem. Oh, you're talking about
Robin
Robin Williams.
What was the name of that show?
Oh, come on. Does anybody
Jim,
know?
do you remember
Jim,
the
do you
name of that show?
remember the show? It was a movie.
It was a movie with Robin Williams, and they were all he was standing on the table. My whole point, seize the day became part of that.
Carpe
so,
diem.
folks, when you come back, seize the day, learn about options. It's a great O word. And how's that for a transition?
Love
so
it.
we'll catch you
Great.
right around, and we'll go deep into financial situations to make you wealthy.
We just finished tax time, and I know, like me, many of you are thinking, wow, this gets more complicated every year. I'm Steve Beaman, and my friends at Beaman Associates have been helping individuals and successful businesses for over 20 years. In construction, they say measure twice and cut once. In accounting, trust me, research and plan before you act. When you need powerful tax and accounting advice for you or for your business, contact Beaman Associates at 630-653-3510. Visit Beaman Associates.
Now, back to the Steve Beaman Show for insight on your money and the nation's financial future.
All right, my friends, and welcome back to the Master Your Money segment where, yes, Carol and I are back in our sunglasses because we're trying to look wealthy.
We're cool.
We're cool, like the Kardashians, right?
Oh, God.
But let's
please.
talk about the importance of a financial instrument most people don't understand, but the institutions certainly do, called options.
Okay, options. Options can be scary.
They
I think.
can be very scary. Let me tell you real simple, and boy, we're going to take a master's in finance and break it down into a 5-minute segment.
Is this where you're putting and calling and all that
There
fun
are
stuff?
two options. There's calls that give you the right to buy something and puts that give you the right to sell something.
Okay, Steve, you're going to have to unpack this
I'm gonna
because
do
once
my
again, you know me, I don't understand a lot of these things. I do know people that have lost their shirt. Okay, and I kept that G-rated. Trading options. So,
Well, options, like anything, you can buy and sell. They're volatile, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get hurt.
so an option, it's not really anything tangible, correct?
No, it's a financial instrument. Let's assume I have a Cherry Bundy in my hand,
You do have a cherry bundy.
and
in
I'm
your
a
hand.
farmer, and
Okay.
it cost me $1.50 to make this Cherry Bundy today.
Okay.
You might come in and say, you know what? I think the price is going up. I'm going to buy from you the right to buy that Cherry Bundy at $1.50 for the next 90 days because I think the price is going up.
Okay. So I am buying on a speculative feeling, if you will.
Or mathematical formula.
Okay. Okay. All right. Really, there are mathematical formulas.
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll unpack that more. Maybe that's something you need to write about. So what I'm doing is I'm going to buy this for 90 days, for the next 90 days at $1.50. Well, if it goes up to $2,
Then you can buy it at $1.50. Happy days are here again.
What if it goes down to $1.30?
Then you only lose the premium you paid.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means, let's assume it's $1.50 and you pay me 10 cents for the right to buy it for the next 90 days at $1.50.
I'm not paying you $1.50?
No,
Why
no,
am
no.
I only paying
You're
10
only
cents?
buying the option to buy it. You don't have to buy this. You're only buying the option to buy it.
So now I'm so even
no.
more.
This is real simple. This is a $1.50 bottle of Cherry Bundy.
Right.
You are buying the option to buy it from me. Okay. You don't have to exercise that option. It's an option.
Okay, so if I give you 10 cents for 1,000 options at $1.50.
Right, then you have the right. You have the right to go and call from me that Cherry Bundy at $1.50 for 90 days.
What do you mean? And there's that call word now.
Well, that just means you have the right to take it from me.
Okay, so when someone invests in options, they invest in puts. The put is the option.
The right to sell it. So in other words, I think the price is going down. I think this Cherry Bundy at $1.50 is going to be worth $1.10. So I'm going to give you 10 cents and say I have the right to sell this back to you at $1.50 for the next 90 days.
Okay, so who's actually selling these products? It's really not a farmer. I mean, it's a brokerage.
Farmers do this all the time.
Really?
Farmers are buying and selling in the futures and options markets all the time because they think prices on corn and soybeans are going up or down. Stocks, bonds, all of these things do the same thing. What you're doing with an option is you're buying the right to exercise that option against that security or that item for a period of time.
Now, is it always tangible items, or is it also, like you just said, securities? Aren't securities a little more ambiguous?
Well, there's a lot. Again, the markets in the United States are wonderfully developed. You can buy options on commodities, silver, gold, corn, soybeans. You can buy options on stocks, IBM, GE, whatever. Or you can buy options on indexes like the Dow Jones Industrial 30 or the S&P 500, where you're buying an option on what is already kind of not a real asset.
I don't get
You got to come to the video. You should have seen Carol's face. That was like, whoa. It
Okay,
was
wait
like
a minute.
seriously like the
Okay.
deer in the headlight, like, whoa.
I get tangible things. Okay,
Right.
I get that you can buy gold, and I mean, I know you're not buying the actual gold. You're buying
Right.
a price of the gold,
Right.
and I get it with stocks because you trade stocks.
Right.
Now you could also do it on the indices, the different the Dow
Absolutely.
Jones and
People create indexes, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P, the VIX we've talked about.
right.
You can buy options on those.
Wow.
And you can buy double levered options. And
what's a double levered
it
option?
means that if, let's say you own an option and the index goes up by 1, this option can go up by 2, 3, 4.
Steve, why in my brain does this just sound like going to Las Vegas and
It's not.
rolling?
It's not. It's all formulaic. There are options. The Black-Scholes model, for example, gives you pricing on options that sometimes gets out of whack, and you can play that to make money. But folks, this is the stuff. Wall Street's created language that you don't understand. I urge you, I beg you, go to the society, safefinancial.org. We're not for profit. Let us teach you the language, teach you the tools, so you're not subject to getting burned by one of these charlatans who comes out and says, oh, you can make $1 million, just write call options all day.
Right.
It's not that simple, but it's also not terribly complex. We want to explain it to you. We want to work with you on it because you have the responsibility for your own financial future.
And SAFE is a 501c3,
It's not for profit.
not for profit.
I don't draw any income from that.
Right. But it's a monthly newsletter, right?
They get it. And we're redoing this. We're creating a really powerful monthly newsletter that will be kind of like Kiplinger. If you're familiar with the Kiplinger Washington letter, it's going to be really strong. You get access to weekly videos where I bring professional investors in to talk about what's going on in the markets. It's called the Professional Investor Series. We also archive this component of the show, the Master Your Money, up there so you can re-listen to it. I'm telling you, there's a lot there. And I'm not here to sell safe. I don't care. I just want to drive home the point. The financial path changed in 1970s when people came under ERISA. When you got out of defined benefit retirement plans and into defined contribution plans, IRAs, 401ks, KEOs, your world changed and you were not given the resources to help you through it.
Well, I'll tell you, there's so much, and SAFE is loaded with information. They could go to stevebeaman.com, and there will be a link to SAFE there.
There's a link to SAFE, there's a link to John Grebe, our accounting friend, and there's a link to Cherry Bundy so they can have a happy, healthy life. So anyway, we're going to come right back. And folks, we are going to come up with a challenge for you that, well, we think it's going to transform your next week, if not beyond.
Welcome back to this great edition of the Steve Beaman Show. This is Carol Parisi and Steve again. Quick, fast. Put your glasses on the right way.
I was going to say, give us a note at carol@stevebeaman.com if you like my glasses like this.
You're so funny. Oh my gosh, we're having way too much fun here today. And, we discussed some pretty serious topics, Steve. I mean, initially 21st century solutions
We
to
did.
21st century problems.
And these are real problems, folks. We're transitioning into an economy that's never existed before. This is uncharted waters for all of us. So we've got to come together and find solutions from people. Again, I go back to Clint Eastwood in Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I think it was the Good, Bad, and the No, it wasn't Good, Bad, and the Ugly. It was the Outlaw Josie Wales when he said, governments don't solve problems, people do.
Well,
or governments don't live together, people do. Point being, we as the people have to come together.
Well, and it
on
was
this.
the Dead Poets Society, by the way, when we talked about Robin
Robin Williams,
Williams.
yeah, Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem. Now, Steve,
So we started on the physical path.
yes, we did.
And again, we're preachy on that, and I know I'm a little preachy on it, but doggone it, I know that it's important, and I know we're headed toward this weird world, and you've got to be in par on all 5 paths.
And to all of our listeners, I am a certified life coach. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a certified lifestyle and weight management counselor.
And
I
a
have
certified really nice person.
most of the time. Most of the time. But no, truly, if you have questions on weight loss, on fitness, on anything that has to do with your health, just please write me. I am willing to share my knowledge with you. I believe it's my required service to do that because I have this knowledge. So write me at carol@stevebeaman.com. And, remember, take your Cherry Bundy daily.
There you go. And then we came down to the bottom of the hour and probably disappointed everybody with our O word. But
opportunity is a phenomenal
word. You can't deny it. It is a core of everything in life. If you want to lay down on your deathbed when you're 150 years old and go, you know what, I've lived my life. I haven't just existed. I've lived.
Right. You don't want to shoulda all over yourself, really.
No,
I should have done this. I should have done that. No, don't do it.
No, ever, never, never, never. We want to expand and explore our horizons. And then we talked about option strategies in the Master Your Money segment.
And I'm still, even though I am a member of Safe Options, it's so scary to me.
It sounds scary. It sounds complicated, but it's not.
It's scary.
We'll spend time. We'll
have to do that.
We'll take a meeting and do lunch.
Okay.
Have your people call my people.
Please. Yeah, right. I am my people. In fact, I do anyway.
I'm not even my own people.
Anyway, hey, what's our challenge?
Well, what I was thinking about is every week people go through their life and they kind of just go through life and they go through the basic steps of getting up, showering, shaving, going to work and all that. How about this week, everybody listening to us picks one concept of an opportunity that they didn't know they could do, and they do it.
Step out of your comfort zone for that opportunity.
Absolutely. Just go live life for a week. Say, I've kind of wanted to do this. I'm going to do this.
And go for a walk, too. For a physical
Absolutely.
path, go for, you know what? Why don't you go for a walk and start thinking of what's outside of your comfort zone?
There you go.
Because there's nothing like walking someplace to get your brain figured out and more centered.
So that's what we're going to challenge them on. Hey, we do want to thank our sponsor, Jim Thompson, who brings us together and has had a good laugh with us today. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
We also want to thank our sponsor, John Grebe at Grebe Accounting Associates. Visit the website, stevebeaman.com, and go visit John. Safe, we want to thank, as we always talk about them. And, of course, our friends at Cherry Bundy, who we get lots of this stuff from them we can send out to listeners. So write Carol at stevebeaman.com and ask her for your free Cherry Bundy. We do want to say next week we're on, what's the next one? P?
P? Okay.
So next week will be the P word. We think we'll come up with something for that's probably not as exciting.
Possible.
But
It's
positively possible.
Yes.
And we are going to talk in finance about something that starts with P. I don't know what that'll be.
Pneumatics?
Pneumatics? That's a big P word. So I don't know if we'll do that. But folks, as we always do, this is from our hearts to your hearts, because this show is built for you. This is the only reason we do it, is because we want to empower you to deal with the transitions of the 21st century, live a better life, live a more fun, prosperous, and healthy life. Godspeed to all of you.
Bye-bye. Make it a great week.
Isn't that nice? Carol, that was sweet, Carol. But we will. We'll make it a great week together, and we will see you 1 week from tonight.
I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Godspeed, folks.